Okay, so you are looking at the context of John Steinbeck, and there he is down in the corner. You just see his little handsome face right here. So you need to make sure that you've got John Steinbeck written as the title on your piece of paper, and make sure that you spell his name right because it's very difficult. John Steinbeck. So, John Steinbeck was born in Salinas in California in 1902. Now, that was quite an important time because lots of people were moving to California during his lifetime, and that's part of what his books were about. He died in New York in 1968, so he lived until he was 66, but it's really important that you understand that he was born in Salinas in California, which will be a really important place in our study of the novel. So, John Steinbeck wrote 3 books. Okay, he wrote Of Mice and Men, which is going to be the novel that we study, and he wrote that in 1937. He wrote The Grapes of Wrath in 1939, and East of Eden in 1952. And you can see along the bottom there, you've got Of Mice and Men, then Grapes of Wrath, and then East of Eden at the bottom there. So he's written those 3 books. Even though he was such a successful author and he was so famous, he still only wrote those 3 books, which is quite surprising, isn't it? So another part of John Steinbeck's success was that he won lots of awards. He won the Pulitzer Prize, which is a very famous American literary prize, for The Grapes of Wrath, which is the book that he wrote after Of Mice and Men. And he also won the Nobel Prize for Literature, which is a really big worldwide award, and he won that for an outstanding contribution to world literature. So isn't that amazing? Even though he only wrote 3 novels, he won this worldwide prize for quality and outstanding contribution of world literature, which is just amazing. So, as I mentioned before, John Steinbeck grew up in Salinas in California, and he was born there and he grew up there until he was sort of a grown-up man. When he was young, he worked on a ranch, and that word is really important, so make sure you write that down. He worked on a ranch, which is like a farm, near his home in California, and this meant that he saw what happened in ranches and in that kind of life while he was young. So when he wrote about it in Of Mice and Men, he'd seen it with his own eyes, so he knows that it's real. And you can see in the bottom here, this is a picture of Salinas and the kind of countryside that he lived in. So you can see that it's really beautiful and really countryside. So he wrote a lot about country living on the ranch. So make sure you've got that word ranch written down. So in his later life, John Steinbeck, he married twice, he had 2 children, and he was a really successful author, as I mentioned before. He made enough money from writing to live comfortably, so he never had to have another job. Writing was his whole job, and he actually got very famous. Also, during the Second World War, he was a war correspondent, and he was stationed in Northern Africa in the fighting there, and he was so close to the action that he was actually wounded and had to be sent back to America because he was wounded so badly. So that's really all you need to know about John Steinbeck. You can watch this video as many times as you need to and keep going back, but you must make sure that you're adding your information to your paper so that you've got all the information from the video written down so you can share it with the rest of the class.